الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Dear brothers and sisters, welcome to our program Real Life and Education. Today we will talk about the guarantees of a happy family. How can we make a happy family, or even for us, how can we make our family so happy? Therefore, I'm really pleased to, as usual, introduce my two guests. Starting from my left, Professor Rashid Mominili, welcome.
Thank you very much.
And on my right, Dr. Mohammed Belghiti, welcome to the new topic.
Thank you for inviting me with both of you. I'm very pleased to be with you.
Okay, thanks a lot. As I said, talking about guaranteed family is very wide. This subject is very wide, as I said, and it is a huge subject for us, and it is a responsibility for the parents, for the children, for everyone, how to manage to make our family happy. Then, starting, my questions will be, how can we describe family? Of course, I will talk to the sociologist, the first one, and after I will give you the talk, yes?
Thank you.
Well, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The family is considered to be the oldest and most fundamental institution in the social system, in a society. And the family is an intimate group, يعني حميمية. It has both sides. It is based on biological dimension, which relates us to even animals and plants, because we have to have mating between man and woman. And then there's the bonds. There are bonds which are of blood between, for example, different parents due to biology. There is based on marriage between husband and wife, spouses, or legal ties by adopting children. In any society there is a type of it is a very resilient unit, because it has gone. Why we are going happy family? Because there are many changes that has affected throughout history this unit, and it has survived many crises. Alors, as shape morphologically, the family can take different types according to the nature of society. In the past, we can say the family was organized as a very large unit, very large, including many type of parents, many generations in a place, and it was the large family, the great family, the large family. It exists in many societies. Now we are living in the large family in a rural generally in the rural area. In the past, for centuries, or you can say that the family had at the time many functions: educative function, religious function, economic functions, even political with the tribe. And the modern family today is a reduced family type of family, and it has those functions are not the monopoly of the family alone. Education, you start from the family, but then children go to school. Economic, maybe there is not a domestic economy now, it's very reduced. There are industry, rural activities, services, and so forth. And then this is two types. Why? Maybe what we can say about the family. Family is dealt with by all philosophical, political, religious systems. What is the difference with Islam? In Islam, in the Quran, there are mention of the family, first unit of the society. And there are rules and norms that are applied, because Islam is giving to everyone its roles, its satisfying all its needs why people are happy? When they satisfy their needs, psychological, spiritual, physical needs, emotional needs, economic needs. But with a certain rules. Then in the Quran, we have also the model of the Prophet ﷺ, who is the better with his family. On those rules, there are backbone rules, and there are rules who can evaluate according to ijtihad and evolution. Then this is according to the families. Other systems are in trouble because they have not main principles about family. For example, the concept of family, where the man and the woman is withered away actually in the world by new rules, which are then Islam has to be, it's very important, it remains the family, but it has, we have to make a lot of ijtihad, that means interpretation, about what? About how to apply the rules, and how, because Islam is based on paternity, the system is based on paternity. It has to be, but it has to adaptability. It has to be adapted to the new changes.
Yeah, of course, as you said. Now you were talking about the big and the huge roles of family. The huge roles of family equal the hard duty of the family. I don't know if you agree with me on that.
First of all, praise is due to Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful. Peace and blessings upon our beloved Prophet, his family and companions, and his followers till the day of judgment. Well, I think according to what we are living in those days, nowadays, we need to have some reminders which are, I think, very important.
And very needed.
Yeah, needed really, yes. First of all, we need to define family, as Professor Mimouni has highlighted, but I think I need to come back again to make it maybe more elaborated. First of all, our scholars define family is the legal,
yes.
Every word is very important.
Yes.
The legal relationship between opposite genders, masculine and feminine, which is institutionalized through contract of marriage. The family that is established through illegal way, such as intimate relationship, is not recognized by the Islamic law. And therefore, its foundation is considered as unethical. غير أخلاقية, لا أخلاقية. Well, or some scholars say, family is the basic unit of society, and therefore Islam lays great emphasis on the family system and its ethical values. The basis of family is marriage through a legal contract. Marriage is actually a strong contract and a strong covenant. وَأَخَذْنَا مِنْكُمْ مِيثَاقًا غَلِيظًا. It's not a game. Islam prescribes rules to regulate family life so that both the spouses can live in tranquility, security, and love. So family in Islam founding a family in Islam has many objectives. أهداف كثيرة.
You see, when you already define the family, it is very important that we underline some words.
Yes.
The first one was legal relations.
Yes.
And it is very important.
Yes.
A legal relationship means if there's not, or they're not, this legal.
It is the only legitimate way or aspect of any relationship between masculine, male and female. The only way to apply التعارف to strengthen relations between tribes, families, and make ties, strong ties between families, villages. يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر, we created you from male and female. وجعلناكم شعوبا, we made you as populations.
and
وقبائل and tribes. لتعارفوا, to know each other, to help each other, to assist each other, to strengthen each other, to guarantee complementarity between all of you in a human life, right? So when we talk about family, we need to know that founding a family has aspects of ibadah, worship, right? Is one of the ways to worship the Almighty Allah Ta'ala. That is the spiritual aspect. Because when we help, we motivate our children or our youngsters to get married, when we facilitate for them the procedures of marriage, we are going to motivate them to have a psychological stability, a spiritual stability. They will be most stable psychologically to worship the Almighty Allah Ta'ala. The second objective is financial objective. When I motivate my son or my daughter to get married, right, I help them to understand the responsibilities of economic life and how to spend money. Maybe before marriage.
I think before.
Maybe.
Sorry, just a minute. If I don't,
Yes.
I don't know if of course, Professor Rashid Mimouni can maybe agree with us. But when we talk about worship, before talking about financial,
Worship,
and
yes.
when we talk about worship, of course, we all know our Islam give us these two elements, which are the basic of the to worship. The first one is the intentions, which is niyyah. And the second one,
intention, yes.
it is the right way, which is sawab. You have to, and to make these two is a project. I mean, we're talking about marriage.
These are the two pillars of any project
Yes.
you make in your life. A good intention,
Yes.
sincerity and honesty to Allah Ta'ala. Second thing is to make sure that the project you are making is allowed and is permitted.
And you follow in the right way.
Of course,
Yes.
you are doing the right steps in trying to concretize that project. But before that, we need to know that the objectives of making family in Islam, according to Islam, is a spiritual objective, an economical objective, or financial objective. Because children, before they grow, when they are teenagers especially, they do not understand how their parents are getting money and wealth to spend for them, right? But when we put them face to face to be responsible in founding a family, they will understand how it was difficult when their parents were spending for them. And this is very important for the stability of family.
Yes.
A third thing is our ulama, our scholars call it the ethical objective. That means when we motivate our teenagers, our youngsters to get married, we purify our societies from any kinds of any types of delinquency and deviations and morals deviations and corruption and so on, and a sinful society and spreading evil among the society. And this is an ethical objective. Then we have a civilizational objective, which is what the Prophet peace be upon him, mentioned in the hadith, تكاثروا تناسلوا فإني مباهن بكم الأمم يوم القيامة. The world today is talking about human resources, right? And the world is comparing between a rich society, a rich country with their human resources, and the poor country. One of the signs of the poverty of any country is the poverty in human resources.
And now we've got the best or the most interesting specialty, if we can, discipline, is talking about the human resources.
Yes, human resources now is a sign of strength in any country, any society, any civilization, when the country or the nation invests in preparing, in getting self-sufficient with their own children. That means when the country becomes self-sufficient in having sufficient doctors, sufficient intellectuals, specialists, teachers, lecturers, philosophers, scholars of Sharia, and getting and being self-sufficient in this field is the sign of the strength of this country or this nation or the society. When the country becomes doesn't need to import specialists and experts to repair their own let's say scanners or computers whatsoever in any field of knowledge, right? Aircrafts, for example, when the country becomes self-sufficient in different fields of knowledge and different fields of agriculture and industry and so on. This is one of the objectives of marriage in Islam, is where the ummah, the nation, the country becomes self-sufficient with its own children and its own people, and that's what we call, maybe that's why Patrick G. Buchanan, I think I have mentioned here in his book, The Death of the West, wrote his book, The Death of the West, to compare between the unbalanced situation between the Muslim world and the Western world, where the death, how to call it, the death rates there is growing more, and in the Muslim world, the Muslim world, they are calling it the world of young youth, right? Yes. And this is now Patrick Buchanan. He mentioned even many Western countries. Some scholars mentioned Dr. Shamil Sultanov in Russia, a member of the parliament, wrote an article about the situation of populations in the next coming 40 years, all right? And he has mentioned that there will be an unbalanced growth between the Muslim populations and the non-Muslim populations, where there will be 6 million growth in the birth rates of Muslim population.
No, there are many people from Western countries talk about the Muslim young and youth people, and in positive way. I will give example.
So these are
I will give example of the MP of England, which is George Galloway, the Scottish person who was in Parliament. He was talking that much about young and youth people and Muslim people, how they behave in England and etc. Before getting back to another concept, I just want to ask questions Professor Mimouni, when we talk about how can we manage to have a happy family, or to make happiness in family, and avoid the family from any destroyed moments, as we can talk about it after that. Professor Mimouni.
Well, we have to understand first that creating a family is a responsibility. First, Allah Ta'ala has made it's a divine plan. Because it's a divine plan, family is a backbone of the social system. And the objective of family is to make the reproduction of children. As man is finite, he's going to die to death, then there will be a substitution of generations. And this is divine plan. Divine plan. خلق الموت والحياة. يعني يخرج الحي من الميت ويخرج الميت من الحي. And the other thing is that Allah Ta'ala is reminding us we have to consider the family as a bounty of God. But if we don't respect the rules, it will be a difficult, we will be in difficult situation. الذي خلق في سورة النساء الذي خلق اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة. Hey, mind us, we have been created from one soul. One soul. Then from
and
the soul
after
he made وخلق منها زوجها.
It is an equation.
رجال ونساء
كثير.
Many, then there are generations. There are grandparents and things like that. This is a bounty. The other thing is when the form of how to create the frame which create the family is the marriage. It's not just a formal relation. It has to be based on a certain values which be transmitted to children. الذي جعل بينكم مودة ورحمة between the spouses, because there is a physical attraction. Islam is a well-balanced system. It is not refused the attraction between a man and a woman. It has been created. But on the other hand...
It is a powerful construct, if we can call them.
That is, Professor Belghith mentioned this. This is a covenant, strong covenant. But it has to be the form, the form. It has to be to make this covenant not just a juridic, a legal covenant. It has to be to adapt to the sentiments of man, the attraction. But it has to be balanced because this has to be good to children. It has to be mutual respect between children, between spouses. That has to be affection. It has to be respect. There are a lot of understanding, respect of children, respect of generations. We have to respect children, to educate them with care. This is a form of respect. And then we have to respect the old people. We did one of our show was about the elderly. Then this is why we have those vital functions have to be assumed. Alors, this is in order to have happiness. First of all, we have to regulate sexual behavior. Islam is regulating through contract of marriage, because when there is contract of marriage, and there is on the perennity, on the duration of a marriage, is protecting marriage. Divorce is an exception in Islam. When there is incompatibility, in Islam there have to be the whole family is involved in marriage, be directly or indirectly, and it is why we have to choose the choosing of the husband, of both, has to be according to certain what we are calling criteria, which are called homogamy criteria. It's not only religious, age, social situation, economic status, social status, respect. Religion is important.
Religiousness, or righteousness,
and it is to gather the most condition, the better condition for the best condition for this. Then, this is a heaven for the children, because when they are educated, when a couple is when there is harmony in the couple, when there is the same objectives. One of the objectives of the family also is istikhlaf, The goal of Islam is istikhlaf. Islam consider that man in this is going to make the function of like Ibn Khaldun said, i'mar al-ard. We have to make this society a good society, and we have to then, according to that, we have the function of socialization on education. The family, if there is divorce, if there is no marriage, they cannot be, then men or women will not fulfill its functions toward its children.
The duties will be interrupted if we can...
Interrupted. Then education. We know that now the delay for education is very important. It reaches about 20 years. And the socialization. In order to give values, education, emotion, so family ties, then crafts, education, to have mihna, training, to have a job, probably, to have different skills, maharat, skills, and so forth. It takes a long time in society. Then the family has to be a resilient unit. Then after that, there is another thing. The family has to protect its members from outside dangers, from inside dangers. Then this affection, and compassion is very important. Then, and we have, as I said, the example of the Prophet ﷺ. He loved, there is a mutual love. Although his high status, he would respect his wives. He would help to the domestic tasks, although his august position on his very important ties. He would respect them. He would be even indulgent towards even small mistakes, jealousy, small mistakes. He would accept them. He's not very, although for moral, except for moral conduct, principle, Islamic principle is very important. He would joke with his wives. His daughters would love him. This is the example of the Prophet ﷺ.
This is when we talk about the family during the Prophet ﷺ era. Now we were talking about the project of the marriage, which is the process of marriage. And after the process of marriage, we've got, of course, we've got this process of education. We have to educate our kids, and the family has to my question is about the modernizations or globalizations today can be one of the obstacles of the happiness family, or to make one of the obstacles to make our family happy in their life. This is it is the main questions for all the people today. They are talking about modernizations and how to socialize the people or socialize the family, their own kids or their own children in their own life, to make their life continue after that. I think is
maybe if we have agreed that Islam aims to build a successful and happy family. That's why he has appointed or mentioned the previous objectives we were talking about, right? To guarantee the achievement of those objectives, Islam has founded family with preventive procedures and protection. That's why we talk in marriage in the Muslim society. We mention the 5 pillars of to found the family, to set up family. Why? Because to achieve the previous objectives we have detailed about, we need a safe environment, first of all. Family is a safe, a secure environment for the wife and the children, where the family members live with tranquility, security, and safety. The five pillars of marriage, successful marriage, and happy marriage are the spouse, the husband, and the wife. The Prophet, peace be upon him, has made it clear what are the criteria to choose a wife who will be the mother of my children. And in the same time, what are the criteria to choose a husband who will be the reference to those children, the reference of the wife. When we mentioned that in Islam the husband is the authority of the family, it doesn't mean oppression
or dictators
or and to be a dictatorship. When the Holy Quran said الرجال قوامون على النساء بما فضل الله بعضهم على بعض وبما أنفقوا من أموالهم. This verse doesn't mean that a husband, if the Almighty Allah has given him the authority to be the decision maker in the family, it doesn't mean that he will be the oppressor or the dictator in the family. No. It means that he is the reference of his children and his wife. When the wife knows that her husband is monitoring his children carefully and they are helping both each other in educating those children, she will feel very secure. You can say that family in a Muslim society is the small paradise of this life, Jannatul Sughra in this world. Why? Because the wife will feel secure. Her husband is here to look after the children with her. And the children will feel secure because they have their father. If they want to do anything, they have to consult him, to refer to him, right? So to guarantee the achievement of the previous objectives, spiritual, psychological, moral, economical, civilizational objectives, we have detailed previously.
You can say
right?
Is the weight.
Yes.
The
Islam prepares a safe environment to educate and to teach, and where learning is possible, where educating is possible, because it is not easy to prepare the future leaders. Those children will be our future leaders, doctors, pilots, etc. Maybe ministries, maybe politicians, maybe experts in different fields of life. So that's why when we talk, when we agreed about the objectives, right? Islam also provides pillars, criteria. تنكح المرأة لأربع. A woman can be married for 4 reasons, right? Her beauty, her wealth, her family status, and her righteousness. And the Prophet advised us to choose a righteous woman. It doesn't matter if the woman is righteous and religious enough, and she is beautiful in the same time, and she is from a noble and rich family. It doesn't matter. Why not? Right?
She will make all the conditions.
Smart people put in their priorities first, religiousness and righteousness, right? Because righteous woman will be able.
Make him rich, I think.
Yes, because a righteous woman will be able to fulfill the duties of educating and teaching and helping her husband and collaborating with her husband and coordinating to to provide a safe, a full family with a full emotions and love and security and tranquility.
I think you're talking with, you may did that.
Inshallah. Right? Criteria of husband also.
Yes.
إذا جاءكم من ترضون دينه وخلقه فزوجوه إلا تفعلوه تكن فتنة في الأرض وفساد عريض أو فساد كبير. The Prophet said, if a righteous man comes to a father asking his daughter for marriage, it is better, he advised the parents, the fathers, to accept this kind of request, right? If you do not do so, right, you will be the cause of corruption on the earth and spreading evil on the earth, right?
Yes,
so this is regarding the criteria, the two pillars, most important pillars. Third thing is dowry, sadaq, which is a symbolic gift and present, right? Maybe we have mentioned about it many times. And the al-wali, the Prophet recommended that there is no legitimate marriage, zawaj mashru', without the consentment of parents. Of course, the consentment of the girl is recommended also. No parents, no father can, in Islam, according to the Islamic law, no father or mother are permitted or authorized or allowed to give their daughter to anyone in marriage without her consentment. We have to be very clear on that. And in the same time, a father cannot force his daughter to marry, maybe to elevate his economic status or whatsoever, right? So that's why al-wali here, al-wali, the father, al-wali is a reference. He is not an oppressor. He is not a dictator. The father. The Almighty Allah gave, sorry?
Wali, tutor. The tutor.
Yes, tutor. Yeah. Thank you. A tutor here doesn't mean that he forces his daughter or his son or whatsoever, or his wife, or he oppresses his family members. No. It means that he is the guardian of the family, of his children, in order to guarantee for them a safe environment. They will feel secure and they will live in tranquility. The father is here. He is the one who is facing especially the external authorities and problems and challenges coming from outside, maybe to harm the climate of a safe and family. The Almighty Allah, as Professor maybe mentioned, said in Surah Ar-Rum, right? He said, and among these his signs, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ, he has created for you spouses, right, from among yourselves so that you may live in tranquility. This is the Holy Quran. This is a verse. This is the translation and meaning of a verse in Surah Ar-Rum. You will live in tranquility with them. And He has created love and mercy. وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. Family, the climate of family is a place, is an environment where love and mercy, rahmah, is provided, is guaranteed, right? Mercy between you. Verily, in that are signs of those who reflect. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَةً لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. This is a verse 21 in Surah Ar-Rum, right? So the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He asked us, or He ordered us to provide pillars to get married, is not against our desires or our natural innate needs or whatsoever. No, it is in order to organize, to regulate, as Professor mentioned, our needs, natural needs and innate needs in the right way. in the right faith, in accordance to the right path also. And al-wali, right? And then we have as-sigha, the way how we should ask any girl for marriage, and the response is very important. The answer is very important from the parents, right? So I think this is the background of any serious, any successful family foundation, right? In order to guarantee, to provide a durable life. Right?
I mean, we can say this is 50% of success. Yeah. And after we still, waiting for another 50% of success, which is the life together. We've got that problem in our family, for example. All our family are talking and argue about the communications in family. And when you ask anyone and say, what is the problem of our Algerian family? The first ideas comes to their brain and their tongue to talk are the communications. Our family, our parents are sick of this communication. What can we analyze on it?
I will link this with what you said before, globalization.
Yeah. I think this is our problem today.
Alors,
with our generations, of course, talking about generations.
This is what presented Professor Belghis is about an ideal. This is ideal. Is going. It has got tensions in its applications. And sometimes in our families there is a lot of breakup. Breakup, be it divorce, be it maladjustment of children in the family, on conflicts between parents and children, be it isolation from the relatives and kinship. Why this happened? This is a subject of sociology of family. There is even in Algiers, University of...
For this reason I ask you that question, because I do know that you've got many theses on that subject, which
That's
is,
it.
and you have
there is a laboratory in the University of Algiers about the family.
I've been reading one of it, which is التدين وعملية الزواج. التدين والضبط الاجتماعي, etc. He's got the...
This is the... Then what we have to say is that this is a model. There are values. Let's say those values in a social setting in the past. For example, you said, as I mentioned, for example, the preeminence, not the dictatorship of the man. It is, the family is based on a biological distinction between man and woman to have their own status, through their status, and there is a functional adaptation of this biological difference between man and woman, with complementarity of roles. That is, man is not against woman, but they are cooperating within the family and outside. But now, for example, this preeminence in the economic side, let's sort of make a sort of census of some of the problems. In the traditional families, man was bringing breadwinner, as we say in Britain, breadwinner in the family. But nowadays, we see that economic activities, they may be unemployment of men. They may be problems. Maybe the woman will be the breadwinner at time. Maybe at that time, then his status will be more or less weakened within the family. There have to be arrangement. He may be ill. He may be old. He may be... Then there is... Then what makes...
There are a lot of probabilities.
A lot of, then this is one of the things. The other thing is, for example, in Islam, there is the ideal, is that there is combination between the biological maturation, al-insan yablugh, the maturity, sexual maturity, and later on, strongly, or few years later, he gets married. The social adaptation. Now there is a gap. At 16 years old, 18 years old, men and women are all full mature, but for family, for reasons, economic reasons, maybe housing problems, they wouldn't marry. And you find a person who is, it was, in my generation, it was 30 years old, but now it's 40 years old. He wouldn't marry. Then he will have problems, psychological problems of adaptation. Then when education is to find a job, education, there are very important things which are positive in nature, but they affect family. The latening or the late age of marriage for men and women. Then you say it is difficult for a person who are 40 years old, and women may have no the chance to have children, and the man will have the problems, physical problems, to educate his children. There are other things which are, this is internal. There are other things. Then, the situation of the family. This is why what you have said. The problems, they were tackled. We have, let's say, for example, patriarchal family, the old family. Maybe it was a vertical organization. Sometimes in Muslim societies' decadence, the authority of the father, of the male, was very important. Sometimes they were rebuked to ask the consent of the girl to marry her. They wouldn't say what they would say for any project, social family project. Then on this now is, you cannot apply it in a new society. Then everyone has his got own conception, own vision, and at that time, there is a lack of communication. We didn't find the new channels of communication that are required in a situation of crisis. There is skills, maharat of communication. The other thing, maybe we can, on this thing, is there are external dangers. For example, or external, let's say challenges, not always challenges. For example, this is the values, the education and values were given straight. There is a discrepancies between the new socialization agencies. First one is family, then school. There may be a gap. Now we know that there are new ways of communication, media. They are worldwide in the modernization, globalization. Then the globalization giving a lot of values, which are, some are positives, some are very negatives. And we know that through the new social, for example, social media now, the children, they are retreating from the real, not real life, real relations with the family, and they have the informal and the relations with in the media space, and that creates new values and new relations within the family.
Therefore, we need to advise our people, our family, and guide them to the right way, which is the Islamic instructions or Islamic institutions. Of course, talking about the mosques, talking about the scholars who can guide them and advise them in the same times about the happiness of family, or what we call to make our family happy. Yes.
Yes, please. I want to elaborate the ideas. Just now, Professor Mimouni has highlighted so many very interesting points. But do not interrupt me, please.
Yeah, you've got 1 minute.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
I just had the.
I think there are obstacles, which maybe are the cause of any failure in achieving the objective of a happy or successful family. Because when we talk about the ideal values in our ideal values according to our religion and our reference, right? We know that during our civilization, right, it has been applied, and people have lived with these values, I mean, right? That means they are realistic. If we go back again to our reference and our values and our traditions, we will be able to correct some of our weaknesses and our mistakes in founding our families and our societies, actually. But there are some obstacles. First of all, when we mentioned the objectives of marriage, we need now to increase our people's awareness. How can we bring our children, our sons and daughters, to have the same objectives when they want to get married, right?
I think we can do another, another sessions for this subject. It is very important. Especially you didn't finish.
I have seven points.
I think the promise we will do with this seventh.
I have 7 points.
Yes,
and I request here a second program, second session.
All right, I will.
Right.
I think it is very important. It's a wide subject.
I strongly request.
Yeah, of course.
A second session because I have 7 points.
I said you've got my promise.
I didn't.
You've got my promise.
Yes.
Thanks a lot to all our audiences, our followers, and I know you all know that it was very important subject, and it is still very important subject, of course. Thanks to my two guests, Dr. Mahmoud Belghit, Professor Rashid Mimouni, and it is promised that we will do for the next topic to finish all the components that Dr. Belghit was talking about.
Professor Mimouni also has so many things to say.
I want you to know the happiness of family is the realistic situations of our family. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.